Folks, I have missed you. I have missed you these last couple of weeks. Welcome to another edition of Fitness Friday Posi-TIPS with Rachelle. As promised, it is June 1st, and we are about to embark upon a serious series here, and that is the value of competitive analysis. The value of competitive analysis. Now, I've known a number of gym professionals over the years from various different entities, and one thing that I can say is the need, the understanding, the importance of understanding the value of competitive analysis is something that I cannot emphasize enough. It is so important to know what your competitors are doing, what they're saying, what their strategies are, and that's all something you can figure out. We'll talk more about that as this series progresses, but wanted to kick off this series. I'm actually going to save my latest, I've got a couple of PF or Planet Fitness adventures to share with you. This time I'm going to share about my visit to the Brighton Club on May 11th and again on May 17th. Next time I'm also going to share about a great visit I had to the Farmington Hills, Michigan Club. So a couple of great Michigan clubs. Look forward to sharing those, more information on those as we move forward. But folks, here we are. It's important that you know from a competitive standpoint. I want to start things off by emphasizing the importance of knowing where you stand. Do you know where you stand? Now, last fall, I did an episode on the value of feedback, the importance and the value of member feedback, or even prospective member feedback, because either can certainly help you in many ways to understand what you're doing right, to understand what areas of improvement that you have. But it's so important to know where you stand, because it's hard to position yourself in relation to competitors if you don't know where you stand. And so that's where feedback is key. Feedback is key. We're going to continue to talk about the importance, particularly as it relates, it's 2018. Social media is huge. Now, you've got so many different avenues in terms of gathering information about particular facilities that you may want to join: a gym, a spinning studio, yoga studio, CrossFit box, YMCA. There's information abounds, but also the information regarding feedback, member feedback, former member feedback abounds. So prospective members, even current members, can see that and inform opinions about you and your particular facility. So you always want to shine. You always want to be seen in the best light, but that's going to take a lot of work on your part in order to make that happen. So know where you stand. And I want to kick off here with a couple of different examples as entities. So either one, you can be reactive, members give you feedback, prospective members give you feedback in terms of why they joined, why they didn't join, why they joined this club, why they left your club for this one, why they transferred their membership to another location within the franchise. It's all important information for you to know. So you can be reactive or you can be proactive. You can send out member surveys, you can walk around and talk to members, you can email members, you can just call members. There's so many different text members. There's so many different ways you can get your hands on feedback, but it's so important that you know where you stand. And I've got a few examples here I want to share with you. In the fall, had a furnace tune-up, a local company here called Harriman Heating. Harriman Heating including, and I think they also do plumbing. But anyway, long story short, when the particular technician was about to leave, he handed me this card and it says, "Your honest feedback means a lot to me. It just takes 5 minutes." And it says, go to www.reviewbuzz.com, enter this company name, Harriman Heating, and it has Service Pro in their name, Derek. And it also, on the back, it says, "Want to hug your service provider? Even better, give your feedback." At the bottom, go, share, give. All right, go to the website, share in terms of writing a review. Lastly, give in terms of writing a review. And so there's something that was really profound when that particular technician, when he handed it to me, and I said, wow, this is really interesting in terms of, the owner proactively soliciting feedback. And he said, well, you know what the owner said, and his philosophy is, it keeps us honest. Asking members, asking customers in terms of soliciting that feedback keeps us honest. And they have a lot of good reviews. Yes, they've got some negative reviews, but you can't please everyone all the time. But I think that was so profound when he said these reviews keep us honest. All right, keep us honest. So you don't ever want to have just negative feedback, but if you operate with integrity, with credibility, you treat customers right, you will get feedback. Had a recent eBay order, and with the particular order, when it arrived, had this particular card, and it says, "Dear valued customer, thanks for your purchase. It is our pleasure to do business with you. The item has been sent with care. We hope you are satisfied with it and our service, and leave us positive feedback with 5 stars in all categories," which is a huge motivation for us to be a better seller. If you have any questions or problems, please contact us. on email, so the email address is there, or via Skype. They're both there. And so it actually has an example of how you would rate them. Item is described, up to 5 stars, communication, and lastly, shipping speed. So each of the different categories, and they actually have 5 stars here. So they're very assertive in terms of what types of feedback, if you've had a good experience, to leave that feedback. So you have the opportunity, obviously, to leave good feedback, but you also have the opportunity to leave negative feedback. So, but the importance of noting that is we've all gotten a number of eBay orders, and you rarely see, it's just in terms of particularly with a card coming in the package itself requesting feedback. Yeah, you may get an email saying, are you satisfied? Would you write a review? But I thought that was a very nice touch. Lastly, when I was home in Louisiana most recently, my mom and I stopped in Wendy's and was so pleased to see the general manager's card, his business card. His name is Otis Smith, no relation. But anyway, his office number is right here up top, as well as his email. So I just thought that, right there next to the register. It was just great to see that, particularly from a leadership perspective. You always want to solicit feedback, good or bad, and give people the opportunity to reach out to you directly, because again, that shows accountability in terms of moving things forward. Lastly, in terms of soliciting feedback, I recently, Staples, for years has done my business cards, but recently switched to a company called UZ Marketing based out of Houston. But they read their reviews before I ordered, because they had a number of positive reviews. And actually their price was just fantastic. And I'm thinking, why was I wasting my time paying much more with Staples all this time? But anyway, saw an online ad, and immediately switched to UZ, and was so pleased. And we're talking about, 1,000 business cards for $23, and at Staples that would have cost double. It would have been double, probably triple that. And so anyway, folks, I received an email after my order was received, and it says, hey there, Rachelle Smith, let us know what you think about our website by writing a review. Below are some things we want to know from you. You can answer all, or you can answer one, or you can make up your own. It's entirely up to you. Is it easy or difficult to use in terms of their website? How's our customer service? The quality of our products. In return, we'll send you a coupon for 5% off your entire next purchase. Please fill out the form below and submit your site review. Your feedback is very important to UZ and would be very much appreciated. So again, they're giving somebody 5% off their next order for writing positive or negative reviews. So being very proactive, also incentivizing with that 5% discount next time, particularly for those people who order thousands and thousands of stuff, of items and materials, marketing materials. That could truly be a significant discount. But again, positive or negative, they want to know. And I challenge you to say, do you really want to know? Do you really want to know? All right, you got to be willing to accept the good with the bad. We're all imperfect. All facilities have areas of room for improvement, because we're all human beings. We're all going to have strengths and weaknesses, and areas and opportunities for learning and development. But just take advantage of every opportunity. Listen, proactively solicit feedback, and I promise you, you won't regret it. At times it can be tough to hear, but also it will help you moving forward to become the best leader or facility, supervisor, whatever the case may be. It will help you, owner, franchisee, corporate facility leader. It will help you to become the best you can be, and help you to help your people to be the best that they can be. And you can become the best facility in your area according to feedback. It's so important. And I want to wrap up this particular episode here. When I talk about feedback, I am very big on feedback. I'm just proactively, businesses, companies, corporations, people solicit my feedback constantly. And I have no problem sharing that. You reach out to me, you call me, you email me, you approach me. I will have no problems giving you feedback. And actually, I've mentioned this before in a couple of episodes previously, when I was a member of Powerhouse Gym at Novi. I was actually there for 5 years, but the founder owned that gym, Mr. William Dabish, and he's the founder of Powerhouse Gyms International. For those who don't know, that's a Michigan-based gym, even though they're worldwide. I think they've got about 300 locations worldwide. But he was one of my Facebook fans. But he tuned in every day, particularly Fitness Fridays. But also, I would constantly get these email surveys in terms of how they were doing, what I thought, yada, yada, yada. But very, very big on feedback. So that's something that's so important. It doesn't matter, again, who you are, what level you have, what level you are. We can all learn. We can all grow from feedback. And I think that's so important to have the humility to be willing to listen to feedback, and if necessary, act upon it. But folks, I want to wrap up this episode here with a Planet Fitness adventure that I had for my fitness anniversary. My 24th fitness anniversary was on May 17th. I had the opportunity to go back to the Brighton, Michigan club for a second time. The first time I was actually, Brighton is an area, I guess it's about 15 miles west of me, right off the interstate, so it's an easy ride up there. Had an appointment. I'm never in Brighton, maybe once or twice a year, but had an opportunity to go to Brighton to that club. I had an appointment that morning at 9:30, so I said, well, you know what, just the benefit of the Black Card membership, let me go and check out that club and work out there, and I'll just literally be right down the street for my appointment. So that was May 11th. Had a very good workout, and I checked out the club before and saw the pictures and everything, and what caught my eye was I saw standard size stretching mats, the PF branded mats, which is they're branded. There's no triumph without you. For those who may have paid attention, on May 11th, I actually took a picture of the mat and posted that on Facebook. That was my Fitness Friday morning highlight, was those mats, because you've heard me say the Inner City Club on West 70th and Shreveport is the only other club I've seen those mats, and I was so excited when I saw them. But prior to that visit, I had received some feedback on that club. See, feedback, people talk, people read, whatever. Now, Pastor Dan is over, he's an interim pastor at Faith Presbyterian Church here in Novi-Michigan. Now, I'm not a member of that church, but I volunteered there a couple times, and he has a monthly newsletter. I know a number of ministers and pastors in the Metro Detroit area, but I'm a religious person, but we won't get into that. But know a number of pastors, but in his monthly newsletter, I actually read this, it was from the month of February, but I read this a couple months afterwards. And when I read it, I said, you know what, he's talking about the Brighton Club, because Brighton was on my mind, but I'm like, okay, occasionally if I'm there, I had gone there, I'd read the reviews. But then, of course, in the month of April, a couple months after he wrote this newsletter, I came across this feedback that really challenged me and inspired me to check out that club. It says, there's a fitness center in Brighton that I belong to that has recently been expanded. Actually, expanded doesn't quite do justice to what happened. The place is at least twice the size of what it was before. It was a gradual thing, which meant we could all watch as the project unfolded. Walls disappeared, wiring dangled from the ceiling, HVAC adjustments were going on, and workers were a constant presence. New exercise equipment appeared, along with monitor screens for our viewing pleasure and encouragement. It was kind of messy, but we knew what the end result would be. Then he's got a couple of paragraphs I'm going to skip because it relates to his church and it's going to take up time. But the last thing I want to point out, one of his final comments was, once the gym was completed, it seemed worth all the inconvenience and adjustment. And so when I read that, I said, you know what, he's talking about the Brighton Club. I could just tell. I said, you know what, he's talking about Brighton and whatever. So next time I thought to myself, okay, next time I'm going to have to check that out. So an opportunity presented itself, and I went, spent my fitness anniversary, my 24th fitness anniversary at the Brighton Club. And as you all know, except for rare exceptions like the Evanston, Illinois Club, right there if I'm at Northwestern University, I always wait 2 visits. I always have to go there 2 visits before I can do a member survey. And so this was my second visit. Evanston, Illinois is the only one so far where I've only visited once and wrote feedback, because that experience was so strong. But this time I'm actually going to read the feedback that I sent. I never do this. I am never this generous with coaching and consulting and just sharing some of my thoughts. And after I read it, I'm going to quickly share kind of what I was thinking and some coaching tips for you. I am never this generous. I am never this generous. So I will be during this particular series, and I will never be against folks. So make sure you take good notes during this series. All right, so here's my feedback that I submitted online. I'm a proud and happy member of the Commerce Club, but wanted to share a few thoughts. I first visited this club on May 11, 2018, when I had an appointment in Brighton. I was so happy when I saw the Planet Fitness There's No Triumph Without You standard size stretching mats. The only other club I've seen with them so far has been the West 70th Street Planet Fitness in Shreveport, Louisiana. It was cool to see your dumbbells go up to 75 pounds, the hydro massage default setting of 10 minutes, as well as having the option of hydro massage, bed, or chairs. I came back to this club today on my 24th fitness anniversary. Your mats and stretching area is phenomenal. That's precisely why I chose to come to this club today. I am so happy to have a Planet Fitness club in Metro Detroit that allows me to do a full stretch. The young lady in the purple shirt with long brown hair at the front desk was cordial and friendly when I came in. I asked her to take a photo for my Facebook page, and she graciously did. She even offered to make sure to get the Planet Fitness or PF logo in the background. The teamwork and collaboration between her and the trainer, emptying garbage cans around the gym, was great to see. While in the free weights area, one of your happy members, Troy, introduced himself to me. He raved about your club. He told me how he originally joined the Howell Club and came to this club after the renovations. He said how much he appreciated your staff. He pointed to Maddie at the front desk and said, "Her name is Maddie. She is 21 and does an excellent job running this place." He didn't realize I was already a Black Card member and told me all about the perks. Rest assured, he is undoubtedly doing the same to members of your club. I commend you on developing such a strong advocate within your club. He is without a doubt recruiting members to your club, as well as enthusiastically convincing others to upgrade their basic memberships. Another man saw my LSU apparel, shook my hand, and showed me his LSU class ring. I had a great workout at this club today. Keep up the great work, and I look forward to visiting when I'm in Brighton and or have a strong desire for a full stretch. Thanks again. Best regards, Rachelle Smith. So I want to quickly share some thoughts around some of these comments and some of this feedback that I shared. And number one, how I emphasize that I'm a happy and proud member of the Commerce Club. You all know I could go on and on and on about my club. The PF Michigan, the PF Commerce Country Club is just outstanding, absolutely outstanding. But at the same time, as I told you, I can't go through, particularly in a role like mine, and I challenge leaders, particularly those of you in leadership roles, we can't go through life with blinders on and thinking that our facility or our entity is the only one that exists. I always have been one to give feedback, positive feedback, kudos, congratulations, keep up the great works, wherever I am, whatever type of facility it is. So I wanted to make clear also that I'm very happy, I'm very proud at my own club, but also I have the ability to recognize excellence at other clubs when I see it. So that's why I pointed that out. Secondly, the mats. I could go on and on and on about the mats because I'm able to do a full stretch. And for those of you who don't know, and I tend to be, this is part of my personality, but I'm working on that. I tend to be a black and white type of person. So for me, at Planet Fitness, except for the one on 70th Street that has those mats, the PF branded mats, there's no Triumph Without You, and also Brighton has them. Okay, those are the two locations you will only see me doing a full stretch. You will see me in the weight area. Apart from that, you will see me in the weight machine area doing a very quick standing stretch. Full stretch is when I pull out the mat and I'm stretching. When I was at the Brighton Club, it was about 30 minutes. Same thing at Powerhouse. Anywhere I could stretch anywhere from between 10 minutes to about 40, 45 minutes. So I integrate yoga, I integrate Pilates into my stretching, so that is a full stretch. And so because the mats, typically your standard Planet Fitness clubs are so short. I mean, if anyone who's taller than about 5'4" or 5'5", your feet, your legs are going to be hanging off, and it's just not a good situation. And I'm used to the standard size stretching mats. And so these two locations have them. So that's what I mean when I say I can do a full stretch. And that is a huge competitive advantage for them because you've got men that are like my dad, 6'2", 6'5", 6 feet. And you see them grab those small mats. And what I've seen most cases across clubs is that particularly your taller men will use those short mats to actually do push-ups and put their hands on them so their hands aren't touching the ground. They're not using them to stretch because, again, half their body, I'm 5'7", and my legs hang off the short mats. I can only imagine if I'm 6 feet, 6'2", 6'4", 5'11", and their legs are really going to be hanging off that mat. So that's why I pointed that out. Okay, dumbbells going up to 65 pounds. The standard at Planet Fitness is 60. Hydro massage, the standard is 7 minutes. At Brighton, they're actually upped it up to 10 minutes. But they've also, much like that Inner City Street Club on 70th Street, they have the hydro massage, the flatbeds, as well as the chairs. So they've got both options in their particular club. So yes, I was there, 24-year anniversary, it was great. Okay, pointed out the young lady at the front desk who took my picture, which is cordial, friendly, that was great. But most importantly, when she took my picture, how she offered to make sure to get that Planet Fitness logo in the back. That lets you know you've got a conscientious employee, a conscientious staff member who's willing to promote Planet Fitness because she knows I'm getting ready to post this, all right, in a little while once I get situated. So Planet Fitness got some free marketing, some free branding, and she made sure to include that logo in the picture. So you've got a conscientious employee, and I wanted management as well as a franchisee to know that once they got this feedback. All right, also, she was going around the club emptying the trash cans, but the trainer was there helping her empty the trash can. I mean, that says a lot. I mean, you rarely see that, particularly at a chain gym, to see a trainer emptying trash, taking out trash, but I think that said more about him as a person, and that's something I wanted to point out. Very charismatic trainer. When that Friday, May 11th, when I was there the week before, he had a small group class, and he had that group had that gym lit up like Christmas lights. I mean, very passionate about what he does. You can tell he's a great trainer, very charismatic. That group responded well to him. I mean, it was just lively in that training group. So I wanted to point that out. Also wanted to wrap up here by talking about a couple of guys that approached me in the gym. The first one being Troy. You heard me talk about Troy, how he didn't realize I was a Black Card member. So he's sitting there telling me all the benefits of being a Black Card member. And when he first approached me, he said, sorry to interrupt you. And as I've told you, somebody says that to me, I immediately pull out my earbuds because they're being respectful. They realize they're interrupting you. They realize they were interrupting me. So I have no problem, giving my attention. And I actually stood there and talked to him for about 10 or 11 minutes. And so he had a lot to say, was telling me about the benefits of being a Black Card member and how you go to different clubs. And he was so proud of his franchisee, the owner of that particular club, and told me that he owned 9 locations, including Howell, and told me some other different locations. But he is an advocate. Was telling me, I saw you in here last week, and you're athletic, and I saw you cross-train, and that's part of the reason why I spent so much time talking to him. I have no problem talking to somebody who knows what they're talking about. He had something to say. It wasn't this interruption where it was just meaningless and a waste of time, but he had a lot of great things to say. Praised that franchisee, praised that team, gave me some details in terms of why they were awesome and why he was a member of that club and a proud member of that club. But also, he pointed out and told me, he said, you see her right there, the blonde, the petite blonde at the front desk, and that's when he went to say, that's Maddie. She's 21 years old, and she's doing an excellent job running this place. Excellent job running the club. And so I think that was very important, particularly from a leadership perspective, to be able to hear that. All right, you need to know what members are saying about you. You have this guy, Troy, who is a huge advocate. He's out here selling your club for you. All right, and each of you, we're going to talk about this more next episode in terms of developing, identifying your advocates, knowing who they are, developing them, and being able to move the process forward. But no one had to ask him to do that. He is so happy. He's just going around approaching people he perceives to be new in the club or he's never seen him before and telling them what a wonderful experience that he had. Now, the guy who approached me with his LSU ring, so he approaches me and he says, go Tigers. And I'm thinking, oh my God, here we go again. I've heard that a gazillion times over the years where people see LSU, they see my LSU apparel and okay, go Tigers. But he actually was they're very, very different this time. He actually showed me his LSU class ring and said, have a wonderful day, and walked off. So that was just a very interesting thing that he saw that. So this is the type of feedback that I like to give. I can't just only give feedback to my particular club or within my particular franchise group or within my particular overall Planet Fitness franchise. I've never done that. I will always I've got to be objective, but I've got to be willing to celebrate excellence and just good things and good people and competitive strengths and all of that wherever I see it. So I challenge you, particularly those, this whole series is geared more towards fitness facility leaders. You've got to be willing to do that. It's just a competitive advantage to be able to recognize people and celebrate people, but also be able to do so. If you walk into a facility that's a YMCA or a CrossFit box and you're just blown away, let them know that. Everyone wants to receive great feedback. And so I'm emulating what I'm challenging you to do. You see me get on here. I've always been this way, giving kudos. Imagine how imagine how Mr. William Davish felt when I was at Powerhouse. He's the franchise founder. All right, and he had to listen to me rave about other clubs and talk about how wonderful they are. All right, and so you can do the same. You can do the same, and I challenge you. Don't be threatened by hearing how wonderful other places are and how wonderful people are, and hearing this particular feedback that I just read to you. Don't let that make you feel about your position as a leader, your ability as a leader, your facility itself. You may tell yourself, I never get feedback like that. I don't know. My people, all they do is complain and they're all unhappy, whatever. And so I just challenge you. We're going to talk more in this series about developing your advocates, focusing on that positive feedback, but also soliciting negative feedback in order to make the necessary changes. All right, I'm just enthused and ecstatic at my PF Michigan, my Commerce Country Club, but I also know that there's other clubs out there that deserve recognition, and I challenge you to do the same. Be objective, be fair, be celebratory, always look for the good, and point that out when you see it. Do not hesitate, and I look forward next time to continuing this conversation on the value of competitive analysis, but it certainly starts with valuing, understanding, soliciting feedback. Thanks so much for your time. Make it a wonderfully fit day.